Days in Haddonfield. I'm your host, as always, Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog Crossbearer Dykes.
Now that one I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. It looked super low budget and super like Amazon Prime, like direct-to-video movie. But I'm like, all right.
Thought I was supposed to be getting the easy ones.
Yeah, the system has gone out the window when I was told I needed to wake up so early to record this. It's like, all right, well then we're getting whatever the fuck we get, because then we also have Ryan Remington Lootens.
Remington. I'm gonna need a minute.
You're gonna need more than a minute because I lost the window and I don't know where it's from.
Remington Steel.
Nope.
I mean, I like to consider myself Pierce Brosnan, but
yeah, I don't remember what it's from at all. But we also have this one I do know: Joel Jack Frost DeWitte.
I know that one.
Frost. Is it from Jack Frost?
It sure is.
Not the Michael Keaton one.
You need the one. Is that the movie where there's one horror one and then there's one that's like more family oriented to watch?
The horror one's got Shane and Elizabeth in it.
Okay. Yep. I always pass that by at our family video. So I was like, well,
that one
not anymore.
It is
like Frozen. Like, can you imagine putting the wrong version of Frozen on?
Yeah, that is a sad thing. But Ryan, I gotta show something to you here real quick.
Oh my god.
When they were closing, were you like, yeah, I just want your sign?
No, they gave it to me. They're like, oh, do you want this? I was like, yeah, I guess.
You're our most frequent customer. Thank you for trying to keep us alive.
You know, you're not far off, Brian. I do miss video stores a little bit.
I do too. I actually just found one not that far from me in LA, and it like exclusively rents like VHSs. It's one of those like super hit places, and I'm like, this is dumb. And then I look around, I'm like, oh, you got movies I haven't seen in years. Damn, this is actually pretty cool. I should hook up my VCR. But you know, let's not do that whole let's avoid talking about the movie thing, because we actually have a good one to talk about this week versus next week. But this week, I'm going to start things off with a real bummer. Do you guys realize that we are farther away from H2O than H2O was from the original Halloween? Like we all got fucking old.
Why you gotta do that?
Dude, not cool.
LL Cool J is current. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, ask your kids, do they know who LL Cool J is? And you'll find out how current he is. Sorry, LL.
They might know who Busta Rhymes is. Which is awful.
Feel bad taking shots at LL. I liked LL.
That is an era. That is the MTV Cribs era, where like all your celebrities you knew from Total Request Live.
Oh, wait, yeah. Is his name LL Cool J? I just been calling him LL Cool J. Is that not his name?
I call him Preacher from Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a shark in the eye.
Nobody goes for the full name of Ladies Love Cool James. Nobody. That's his God-given name, right?
I mean, if that's what that stands for, I'm glad that he shortened it.
The sad part is I didn't know if you were kidding or not.
I that's what I've always heard. I could be wrong. I've never verified it, but
okay. All right.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. It sounds like something you would do in that time period.
Is this going to be like one of those internet rumors that's just going to blow up now because, like, you know, we're just all assuming that it's true?
Oh, it's real. It's very real.
Oh my god.
I love it. That's great.
I don't need to say another thing about H2O today. We've confirmed.
We've done it.
We've done it. Thanks, guys.
I mean, that kind of explains why he's writing erotica then.
Oh boy, yeah, we go there real hard, real quick.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, he went there real hard from the sounds of it.
When you do what you love.
And then his wife / girlfriend / editor or whatever the hell she is on the other end of the phone.
The other end of the phone, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, man, you can't say that. That's not sexy.
Make her smart.
Yeah, this movie gets real saucy in some points, you know.
Thanks, Kevin Williamson, 90s script.
Right. All right, let's just do a quick meter on this thing before we start diving into it. I'm gonna go first this week. I usually kind of skip it because I've somehow, bashed the shit out of the movie in the opening, like welcome to the show, and I didn't do that this week because I actually like this movie. This is one of the first movies I can remember seeing outside the original, and I remember going, that was pretty good. It's not as good as the original. And I remember my sister screaming at that scene where Michael's like flipping the tables, like trying to find Jamie. And she thought it was a super freaky scene. It's really well shot. It's done. It's done well.
Laurie.
What did I say?
Jamie.
Motherfucker. It's still Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to go with it.
My favorite thing is you were calling Jamie Laurie, and now you're calling Laurie Jamie.
Right.
We let Joel call Michael Jason. We can let me have the. At least I'm still not entirely wrong.
Why do you think I kept my mouth shut here?
So anyhow, when Michael was flipping the tables looking for Jamie Lee Curtis, it was a very good scene. But overall, I really liked it, and I'm still part of that camp of like, nope, the movie when it ends, it ends. It's done. The epilogue of whatever the fuck happens next week was just a fun experiment, but the movie is done, and it works really well. I think the ending, if this was the ending, was actually pretty good. Like I dig it. So that's me. Ryan, what about you?
This was my first Halloween movie in the theater, and it's something special because got to go see it with my mom, who saw the original in when it first came out. So I just remember liking it and watching it, and as I've watched over time, like, you can definitely see how the production was such a mess, but to me it's still a good movie. It still tells the story it wants to tell, minus the aesthetics of the things that are going on, but you can overlook that because the story is actually pretty good, and Jamie Lee Curtis does some of her best work. Sorry, I got you mid-chew.
I'm not eating while I'm recording. That'd be a horrible thing to do that I've yelled at so many people for doing. Matt, what about you?
In your defense, you're not eating something crunchy.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. It's not crunchy. It's very sloppy. Anyhow, yeah. Matt, what about you?
Oh, I just thought it was a bit of a sloppy film. No, I'm joking.
Good segue.
I actually really enjoy this film. I think it sort of falls into the what seems to become a theme. Like, now, granted, I've not seen the Rob Zombie film, but you seem to have like a good first one in like a new series of these things. So, like, you know, Halloween 4 could be considered as like the next sort of series, and that's a good film. H20 is kind of like the next one in a, well, I think it was kind of the first one of the ones where it started going, right, let's ignore those films and let's just pretend that those didn't happen, and we'll just do a sequel to the second one. And again, I enjoyed it. I think it's a really good film. It sort of zips by quite quickly. I think it's quite well paced. I mean, it is only an hour and 25 minutes, but there's not any point where I think there's anything missing. I mean, there'd be some. I think there's some bits that they could have maybe even expanded on a bit more. You know, I think we were saying before we started recording, he doesn't start actually killing any of the teens in the school until like an hour into the film. And like the stalking moments are quite good, but I just think they could have made a bit more of that school location a bit more, like, you know, with the stalking, because there's some good stalking in it, but it doesn't seem to, like, it seems to be very quick stalking. Yeah,
definitely. But Joel, you haven't been with us for the past couple weeks, so you had to watch all of this nonsense. It's kind of, and even in my notes, I make a note, like a very big point of, wow, there's a big difference when you go from 6 to 7. But what was your having watched all of them, what do you think about 7?
So I'm coming to find there's a very clear dividing line in this movie series, and it's very specifically, it's going to be a good one or a bad one. And
yeah, there's no middle ground, really, is there?
No, there's no sharp difference. I mean, there is no fuzzy point, but this definitely falls under the good one. We had a lot of fun watching it. It is very of its time, the 90s, early 2000s sensibility, where I didn't find this movie scary so much.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of nice suspense going on, and that makes it a fun movie to watch just because you want to see everything unfold. And I think we've said this a lot of times, Jamie Lee Curtis does a great job being the main protag. And I appreciate she has maintained very self-reliant throughout all these movies. You know, there's it's rare when you see her as like a damsel in distress type. I mean, even this movie, she almost reminded me of Sarah Connor a little bit, just because
there's
of how
definitely some DNA of Sarah Connor in this character.
yeah,
I don't-
they give flashes of badass in her portrayal for sure.
Cool. I think we're all kind of on the same board, on the same page then, which is, you know, especially coming off of 6, which was just so 6. This is it's quite a step up, and like that's the first note I get. So like we're moving kind of into the plot of this thing. This thing opens with it's going after the nurse from the opening of the first movie, right?
Yeah. So it's it's the same actress as well.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
again, it's quite nice doing that as well, because like having like we had Paul Rudd playing a character that he didn't play in 6, but you know I always appreciate when, you know, if they're going to do like a sequel so many years later, they actually get the original actors back. I always appreciate that. Even if they're not great actors, it's still like continuity wise is better than recasting someone.
Yeah, and I didn't think she was bad. I thought she did.
I think she's great.
Yeah,
and it was it's still the same feeling like she was in Halloween 2.
Yeah.
So, but fun fact, she is the only actress to have been murdered by Michael twice. So,
yeah.
I'm guessing that's in one of the newer ones. That's not the first of the newer ones, because I don't remember seeing her in that film. So thank you for spoiling that.
You're welcome.
Spoils, Matt. People die in Michael movies.
No!
He's kind of relentless.
Yeah. Well, kind of. That's kind of a big point of this movie is he relentless, or is he just kind of like walking around?
Or driving around.
Yeah.
Going to Illinois to California in a white mask. Nobody seems to notice. Not a big deal.
and driving the oldest looking cars that he can get. Like, where does he find these cars?
He's got an eye for cars. Like
that Trans Am, man.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's got good taste.
He does. There's something kind of fun and very like late 90s about having Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie, and he's only in it for like 2 seconds where he get his own ice skate shoved in his face. But it is kind of fun to seeing him pop up as like an early kill. Like he grew up to be such a better actor than he was as a kid. Like he was, no offense to him, I'm sure he's listening to our show right now, but he was not the greatest kid actor. He was kind of just an annoying little shit. And what a great character to have Michael kill right out of the gate, an annoying little shit who just fucked up a poor woman's kitchen.
In one of the most brutal ways. I think that's, well, we'll get into it, but
I mean, the thing with this film that I noticed, you don't see a lot of the kills though.
No,
like it's whether it was a ratings thing or if it was like an actual decision made, like a creative decision. It's weird going from like, you know, from where you see a lot of the kills and it's all about like the build up to the kill to it's becoming a bit more of a, ooh, what's he done? And then it's like a reveal, and it's kind of going from more jump scare, I think. But the problem is it's like, well, you know, they're dead. And they don't leave it long enough for like any sort of memory of the death or the knowledge of the death, should I say, to dissipate before they try the jump scare. And it's like at that point you're like, well, your jump scare's not working very well because I know they're dead and I know that's what's coming.
It's still majority. Out of the 7 deaths, you see 4 on screen.
Oh, well, there you go.
But 7 is still a low number for a Halloween movie.
Yeah, not a lot of people die in this.
Like, it's like seven deaths overall.
And one of them is the ending death, which we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to the ending when we get to the ending. But there's something to say about this, like this opening kill. Like even if we don't really see it, I mean, you see him slice her throat, don't you?
Yeah.
So from quite far away, if I remember rightly, though, she's in
it's through like a window pane.
Yeah, but it's still on camera. But either way, the thing I really like about this opening kill, and honestly, I don't mean to take shots at this movie that I actually enjoy. I think it's all kind of downhill after this one, because the opening kill to me is the only one that really smacks of that Michael stalking, because it has the whole like he's tracking her, he's tracking who she calls for help. So then when he wants to actually go after her, he goes and kills the people that he knows she's going to go to for help before he goes to her. So like, it's that great sort of like, as she's freaking out, he's like, oh, I've already killed your safety net. You're fucked, dude. And it's like, oh, this is that really cool Michael stuff that's like, oh wow, this is way freakier than just a dude in a mask stabbing people, because there's just that extra level of calculation, and it's awesome. And then he doesn't do it again the rest of the movie, and it's like, well, all right, well, it was cool for a moment. But it does set the tone for the movie like really high out of the gate. It's shot well, the music's great, the calculation stuff from Michael's great. It's like you are in line for a really fun movie, and that's exciting. And then we get the opening credits, and we get introducing Josh Hartnett, which I had to make a note of. I'm like, this is where we got him. Fantastic.
I noticed as well, over the opening credits, you've got the voiceover.
Yeah,
that is not Donald Pleasance, and that really annoyed me, because it's like, oh, let's just get a very posh sounding British guy that doesn't sound anything like Donald Pleasance.
I've never known that. And I'm always just like, I fucking hate the voiceover in the beginning of this. And I like Donald Pleasance. I don't know why it doesn't work for me. It's not fucking him.
It's someone imitating him. And it's just like, it doesn't sound like him at all. It just sounds like, I am going to speak in a very posh British accent and try to sound like Donald Pleasance, but I'm not sounding like Donald Pleasance. Because Donald Pleasance does talk like this.
I met him.
Yeah, exactly.
Met him at a convention once.
I looked in his dead eyes. His dead eyes.
Is this what you want me to say?
As he realized that his life was now Halloween movies. Yeah, not a fan. Like, I don't know why they didn't use the original audio, because like,
I mean, the way this movie goes is like, even like, why didn't you just use the mask from 6? Like, the mask from 6 was actually pretty good. One of the only kind of good things in that movie. Why didn't you just use that? Yeah, for one shot. But it's like, why didn't you just continue using that mask? And they're like, because we didn't. And like, it's like, why didn't you use Loomis's VO? We were going to, and then it just didn't work right. So then instead of trying, we decided fuck it. And it's like, that's kind of what I get from a lot in this movie. Instead of trying, we decided fuck it. And that's what takes this from what could have been one of the greatest like Halloween movies ever to a pretty good one. And it's like a little bit of a bummer.
I mean, like, you read about the behind the scenes stuff on this, and like Jamie Lee Curtis wanted this to be a full on reunion of the Halloween crew. Like, you know, she wanted John Carpenter to direct, and John Carpenter wanted $10 million. But like, he sort of like, I get his sort of reasoning behind it, because he felt like he'd been screwed out of a lot of back end stuff off the first Halloween film by the producers, and he basically wanted the 10 million as a way of sort of like compensation for that. It's a shame that they didn't actually take him on, because I think it probably would have been a much better film if they'd have brought Carpenter back, because I think he would have had a bit more sway as well over the a lot of the sort of interference, which ended up causing the film to not be as great.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
There are times where in doing business, if you want somebody to do a job for you and they don't want to do it, they just give you a proposal that's so far out of bounds of what you're willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what happened here. I mean, I could see it being a similar case of it was James Cameron that did Terminator movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's the likelihood of him coming back to the Terminator series to direct a film?
To direct, very unlikely. But he keeps coming back as a producer.
Yeah, and we might talk about that someday, about how that's probably not the best plan. But we'll save that conversation for a later date.
Well, before with what we're talking about now, this movie was supposed to go the Hellraiser route. This was going to be the first direct to video. But then when Jamie Lee Curtis got on board, that's when they really hammered it in and tried to. So I'm wondering if that part was rushed, that they were, and the budget was already tight to do a direct to video movie. Because that was, I mean, this is the 90s, and that was the big craze. So, I mean, that could attribute to what was going on in their mind when they were trying to get stuff done.
I mean, if it is supposed to be a direct-to-video movie, it's probably one of the best direct-to-video horror films. That's
it went to theater, but
I know what you mean, but like, in terms of like, how it ended up looking because it was in the theaters,
right?
Is there a Hallmark channel for horror movies?
It's called Shudder.
Shudder.
Yeah.
Shudder.
I like that we all were ready to take shots at Shudder. Definitely Shudder.
All right, fair.
Oh, and Matt, the best direct-to-video horror movie. Did you forget about Phantasm?
No. I mean, like,
What's happening here?
At the time, because Phantasm 4 was a year after this.
Was it really?
Yeah, 98, and this was 97.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. Wow.
I think. Yeah. Oh, was this 98 as well? Actually,
this is 98. Yeah.
Oh, is it? This was 98 as well. Oh, it's the same year then.
Yeah. Some good horror movies that year. I think I like the Phantasm one better, but whatever.
Well, yeah, the Phantasm one's always going to be better.
It's hard to compete with that.
Yeah, it's Phantasm. Anyhow, let's go back to Halloween. We were in a whole
Ryan's sitting there quietly.
Ryan's just like,
I like Phantasm. The tall man's the shit.
I feel like we should probably do Phantasm again. Because we clearly have got more to say on this, man.
I own all the Halloweens. I own all the Phantasms. So to me, but Halloween's better.
Sure. Anyhow,
I may have made a few enemies here.
Halloween has. I think the thing with Halloween is Halloween's got one exceptional film, which is better than all the Phantasm films, and then everything else is not anywhere near as good as the Phantasm films.
Every
Halloween 2018 would like a word.
We respect diverse opinions here. Yeah. It's just you have to accept you're wrong.
Yeah,
that's okay.
All right. Anyhow, let's get back to Halloween. So, I'm going through my notes here, and like, this is definitely one of those movies that I was kind of watching a little snarkier than other ones, just because I've recorded podcasts on this thing a few times throughout the years. And my favorite note that I have so far is when we're introduced to the gang of teenagers, which is Josh Hartnett, Michelle Williams, 2 red shirts, and that's about it. But one of the red shirts is the kid from Jumanji, and when he comes on screen, the first thing I have is, "Oh, go jump on a game board."
Throw a tail.
Like, I feel bad. Like, it wasn't that kid's fault that he didn't have a lot of jobs, but like, whatever. I actually kind of don't mind the teenagers in this thing. I don't think they're bad. It definitely feels like they're trying to go back to that original like 78 of like, these are real kids and they have like real, problems of adults are dumb and I just want to go hang out with my friends. And it's like, yeah, they nail that. It's like, I want to go hang out with my friends camping. Oh, wait, no, we can do it here instead. All right, well, now I have no adults. This is gonna be great. It's like, this all tracks. Like, it works.
I mean, I actually like some of the interaction with the kids though. Like, especially the bit where Will's going around to the rooms. I mean, it's in my quotes, is that, so I'll save that till the end. But I just think it's it goes back to that original one of like feeling like a quite a real interaction, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel so ludicrous that a person wouldn't say that. Like we started to find bleeding into Halloween 5 and 6 especially, where I think we talked about that. I think it was on Halloween 5 where we're saying about how well the sort of like the victims, I guess is going to be the right word, were sort of written in their interactions, and then how in 5 it just became like they didn't feel like real things. They felt like film characters. Everything was very expositional. It wasn't just these characters interacting and building up who they are as people and the sort of like their character traits.
Mm-hmm.
I think it balances that whole old class versus new class thing well. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, she sort of becomes the Reggie of the series in a way where she is anchoring. She is anchoring the the new one with the original story, like being the through line, right? Because Reggie would always have his supporting cast of characters, and this one she's the sort of adult authority on it, and then the kids are the supporting cast of characters, and I think they handled that balance well here.
So what Deborah Hill did in the 70s, I think this really paid off with having Kevin Williamson write, because he knows the 90s essentially, and just the dialogue between them just really worked out well. So they captured the essence of what Deborah Hill did in the 70s with Williamson, what he did in the 90s.
Yeah, and you can tell like the Williamson was all over the 90s, and it's like when you see his name on those movies, it's like, oh yeah, usually the dialogue is pretty good, feels pretty natural, like he is a good writer. The stuff that I really like in this movie though, like it feels real in kind of a way. Like I really like the scene where Josh Hartnett and his buddy go to LL Cool J's like security house to be like, can we get out of here? Like that conversation, like, can we sneak out? It felt very real in that like overprivileged kid totally shitting on this guy who's making probably like $7 an hour. Like, no, man, just let us out. I was like, yeah, your mom said she's gonna fire me. Like, I need this job. And he's like, yeah, but I want to get out of here. Can you just not care about your job for a little bit? Like, this kid is just totally disrespecting you. And you're just like, oh, I guess. It's like
He's like he's 2 steps away from going, oh, come on, man, be cool.
But he does it, and it's like one of those, like, you can see all this happening. Like, you can see a world where Jamie Lee Curtis comes back. She's like, well, you're fired because I said I would fire you. And it's like, way to go, Josh Hartnett. You lost this poor guy his job. But like, it's one of those.
Now he's got to basically lean on his writing, which
I have my quote is from his writing, because of course it is. But my quote also comes with a little bit of a story to it, and it's so good. I'm excited to get to quotes at the end of this thing. Anyhow, and then after that, I have like a note at some point that says, "Oh boy, dumb mask." I don't know why I have that. I don't know which mask that's talking about.
Probably the K&B one.
Yeah, probably. It's pretty early on in my notes. But all right, so then after this, we get to know Jamie a little bit more, and like the world that Jamie's in now, which is I really. What'd you say?
Laurie.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyhow, so as we're getting to know Jamie Lee Curtis in her new world, it kind of demands comparison to the 2018 one, which I know not everybody here has seen. So we'll keep that comparison a little bit low, but there is something to be said. Like, I kind of prefer this take on the later in life, having been brutalized as a teenager Jamie. I really like this version. I think it does a good job of doing everything the 2018 version will eventually get to, which is, like having, generational trauma and trying to live with that trauma from your childhood and all that. And I think they do a really good job with it here. And they make Laurie a very interesting character with like the kind of budding alcoholism, but also kind of not. Like, it seems like that it's a problem she knows she has, and she keeps it in check, but she's not going to get rid of it either. It's all very kind of interesting character development stuff that they don't really just kind of like put on like a wall and like list it out. It's just stuff you have to pay attention to, which to me speaks a lot to the direction and the performance from Jamie Lee Curtis. And I think it's really, really great. What do you guys think?
I really like that. I like that it's dealing with, someone who's gone through a traumatic event. Not only have they uprooted their entire life to get away from it as well, and even though they're certain, like, she's certain he's dead at that point, but she's still living in fear that the boogeyman essentially will come back. And it speaks completely to, like, PTSD and things like that. And there's a big thing with like trauma of self-medication, and she's self-medicating with alcohol. And like, looking on it now, especially in like, all the stuff that, like, we're a lot more open about mental health like these days than we were in the 90s. I mean, I think post-traumatic stress was a relatively new concept then, I think, because and a lot of it was still related to like battlefield trauma, like, that's what post-traumatic stress was back then. So I like how they actually dealt with that, and they dealt with it in a quite a mature way as well. Like, and like you said, it was done subtly. It wasn't in your face of like, oh, look at how traumatized she is. It's like, we're showing that she's having nightmares. We're showing that she's self-medicating with alcohol. And I like the scene in the restaurant's brilliant for that, because she orders another glass of Chardonnay with a full glass, and you just have the waiter just sort of like look at her really funny. Yeah. And she's like, now? Like, and you can see that she's trying to get another one in before Will comes back from the bathroom, so that she can, have this second one without him realizing that it's actually a second glass as well.
Yeah.
But even then, and that's what I was going to bring up, it's just that scene in general really kind of encapsulates everything about her character in this film, is the restaurant scene, because she's sitting there and she's trying to talk through it with Will. And as she's doing that, she's realizing, she's going through the motion. She may have an out, but then, someone comes up and scares her, and she's just back at, and she just chugs it, and and she's sitting there, now, it's like she's still that person. She's still that person of authority. She's still strong, but that weak is in the glass. And I thought that really encapsulated her character and what she was trying to say. That was just a beautifully crafted scene by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, entirely. The other thing in like that scene where Josh Hartnett is like, they run into Josh Hartnett. I think it's right after this, isn't it? Where they run into him like when he's having his off-campus lunch. Josh Hartnett is what, like 19 in this, maybe 20, very young. He's not the world's biggest actor. People mostly know him. I think it's mostly millennials, but like some Gen Z might kind of know who he is. He is a fucking talented actor. Like I've said this his whole career. Like when he pops up and stuff, like he's so picky. Like usually when he's there, I'm like, oh, I'm interested just because he thought it was worth his time. But you go back to like this very early role for him, if not his first feature role, and he does a good job. That scene with Jamie Lee Curtis on the road where he's screaming like Michael Myers is dead, like, mom, fucking let me live my life. He crushes it. I think he does a great job with that. Like it's really kind of elevates this movie. Like, as I was saying earlier, from, part 6 and 5, where we're kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And you come here, it's like Jamie Lee Curtis is bringing it. Josh Hartnett is bringing it. LL Cool J is here. Like we're having like, it's interesting.
Right.
And yeah, I really like that scene. It's good.
Josh Hartnett definitely
is really good. Like you said, Josh Hartnett fantastic in that. And that scene where he's shouting Michael Myers is dead and all that stuff, and it's like you can see the sort of the effect that her trauma is having on her son. Like, he's not allowed to live his life. They're at that school because it's some sort of I don't know what
secluded.
It's a secluded, where like basically like a boarding school. Like I don't know if it's the same term that you use in America, but basically you have like a boarding school in the UK would be somewhere where you would go away as kids. Like rich people would send their kids away to be schooled, and they'd stay at the school so they don't have to deal with them and stuff like that.
Like Harry Potter.
Yeah. Or,
no, I was
not shit.
Just Harry Potter. Only Harry Potter.
With Josh Hartnett, for me, it's the first time we see him when he goes to get her pills. Like, we know it's our first introduction to him. Oh, she's got a kid, but just he doesn't say a single word when he goes to get the pills, but just the look he gives, like, here we are again. Like what he can emote really speaks to his volumes as an actor, because there you understand, like, this is a guy who knows his mother's trauma. We know nothing about him yet, but we know that he understands his mother and what his mother went through just by the look he gives the mirror. And then just him blowing up at her on the street was, almost like the Mount Vesuvius. And it was, when you can go toe to toe with Jamie Lee Curtis, and this is one of your first film roles, then you're there. So
and it's like the opening bit where you just mentioned with the pills as well. You get a sense that he is not only the kid in the relationship, but he's also the caregiver. Yeah. Because it's like he's the one that goes and gets her pills. He's the one that's sort of trying to calm her down.
Right.
Whereas, as a sort of like a parental figure, that should be the opposite way around.
Yeah.
The kid should be the one having the scary dreams, and the parent should be the one that's like talking them down and stuff like that. But it's flipped on its head, and it's actually a really big piece of character development with very little happening. Dialogue. It's very well done. Like in terms of like how it's shot, how it's acted, it's very, very well done.
Oh yeah,
sure.
And I think that's what sets this film apart from all the a lot of the other ones that have come before it. Is like you said, the performances are so good in this, but also like the way that it's shot and the way that it's written, it's very, very clever and subtle. I can't believe I'm using the word subtle in regards to a Halloween film, but
especially with a Friday the 13th director, like they're not known for their subtlety,
right?
but it works here, and it's a level of care I don't think we're gonna get again until we get to the 2018 one. Like, and I'm not saying like Rob Zombie didn't care, but he just cared in a very different way.
He cared in his film style.
Yeah, very much. And the guy from next week does not care. But
or if they did,
and he already did a Halloween movie.
I know, like I saw that that's for topic for next week. To be
we'll get
honest,
into
we'll get into it. Anyhow, let's keep moving on this thing because we're almost at the fun stuff.
An hour into the film.
Yeah, an hour into the film.
Only 20 minutes left to talk.
Yeah, an hour into the film and only 20 minutes left.
Which is it's quite interesting though when we think about it, because like over half the film, like what was it, like 3/4 of the film almost is set up.
Yeah, it's all just kind of like a family drama. Yeah.
And see that it's a lot more stalking, like we said. So the nuances are a lot different. There's the stalking is more taken care of, and Kevin Williamson with his uncredited writing, he just helped out the two screenwriters that got the credit. So I think that's where those motivations came from. It's like, let's make it more of Michael setting this up, and that's what we get.
Yeah. So when we're at this, like Michael's finally getting to the school, like the school has, their MacGuffin for getting all the students away from there so they don't have to pay for all those extras.
Good old Yosemite.
Yeah, they're going camping. Everyone is going camping. Everyone. Except for these 4 people.
Including all the teachers.
All the teachers, all the staff. Everyone is camping.
Even Janet Leigh is going.
in her psycho car.
Yep.
I thought she was great in this movie.
Yeah,
she was a lot of fun.
Yep,
yeah.
She was.
But honestly, I'm
her
fine
take
with
it. on the one good scare thing's really good as well. Actually, where she's like, "Oh, it's Halloween. Everyone deserves one good scare," and Jamie Lee Curtis just goes, "I've had enough.
There's so many.
Or I've had my share.
I've had my share.
That's it. Yeah.
There are. It's I've had my fill, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, like I had that one written down. There are so many trailer lines in this thing. There are so many, like, this will be a great button on a trailer. Like, it's just like all over the place.
What do we do? Try to live. That's like, oh, that's a trailer line.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's like, what do we do? Try to live. And then like you can see the title will then crash into the screen. And you have like
yeah. Well, so with Janet Leigh though, I don't know if you guys know this, but Jamie Lee Curtis is great to work with. And she got everybody like nice little gifts at the end of the filming of this. Do you know what she got her mother? She got her mother candy corn, not knowing. She was like, "Oh, here's a Halloween treat for my mom." Her mom goes, "Do you know what this represents?" She goes, "It's candy corn. It's Halloween. We're doing a Halloween movie." She goes, "No, this is the snack that Norman Bates chewed on."
Oh yeah,
in Psycho. So that was just kind of nice, and she had no idea. So it was just kind of a nice little thing. I had to share that for this episode.
That's funny.
That's great. That
I like that Jamie Curtis didn't know.
Right. Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, no idea about the filmography. Spartacus, what's that?
My favorite moment of this when I was watching with my wife, because she kind of tunes in and out with these, especially because she's seen this one a couple times. But we get to the part where Michael's stalking LL Cool J around like the like he's sneaking into the place because everybody's gone now. He's gonna come murder people, and he just kind of walks around him. He doesn't hurt him. He doesn't do anything to him. He's just there, and it's like, oh, spooky. He's there. Like that kind of. It's trying to prey on that whole like you're not always alone thing. It's like, okay, I get it, but like he probably would have killed him. Like if I know Michael Myers is like, oh, he's a security guard, therefore he's a threat. He should probably be dead and strung up somewhere for some teenager to find later.
Exactly. And it's like, and there's nobody
romance
around.
Novels. Not a big concern.
Is it romance? Is it romance?
Sorry, smut.
Yes.
He writes
smut. But as I'm kind of complaining about this to Chewie, she's like, so you thought that he was going to murder this guy? And I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, so he was going to be the first kill in the movie? I'm like, well, not the first kill. Racist. See, the movie's calling everyone racist. She was expecting him to die first. And it's like, yeah, see, we're not racist here. And it's like, she might be right. In 1998, that might have been a very intentional, like, we're not killing him. Look at us not kill him.
Well, there's that like long gag of especially in the 90s where it was very sort of like self-aware of like the black characters always been like, oh great, I'm a black guy in a horror film, I'm gonna die first, or something like something along those lines. And
this one I think did the same thing, but without saying the joke, it just showed the joke. And I'm like, this was a very 90s thing. I don't think Chewie's entirely wrong here.
And then it's like you think he's dead as well, and then he actually survives, which is great. I like that he survives.
I did too, except that I feel like that was a contract thing, because like the same bullshit he pulled in Deep Blue Sea was like, you should not have survived. How did you survive again? Like, what is with you surviving these weird horror movies? I think it was a contract thing. If I was betting, like, yeah, you can have me in your movie, but I can't die. Oh, okay, I guess.
So I always assumed with Deep Blue Sea, it was like, well, we killed Samuel L. Jackson. We can't kill the other black guy.
Again, also that time frame, you might not be wrong.
I'm just imagining behind the door, closed door conversations where this is being hashed out specifically.
Oh yeah, and everyone's very uncomfortable.
Busta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wait.
Fucking
Hell.
Busta Rhymes. I'm not looking forward to this.
You took the LL Cool J clause.
I mean, LL Cool J is so good in this movie compared to Busta Rhymes in the next movie, but we'll get to Busta Rhymes when we get to Busta Rhymes.
The CGI mask in this movie is amazing compared to Busta Rhymes.
Have we passed the CGI mask yet? I don't think we have. No,
I think it's coming
No,
up, yeah, because it's in the kitchen.
That's right.
The kills.
Yeah.
With it's the first non-kill. Like, you know, we know that he's dead, but we don't see it.
Yeah, I just found the all caps CGI mask. Oh no, in my notes. So yeah, we're not quite to that yet, but we're very, very close.
I mean, I just had a note on that bit though, of like, you know, LL Cool J is the worst security guard ever. Like, a car pulls up, he's behind a big iron gate. He just, what does he do? No, I'm not going to leave the car there. I'm going to open the gate.
Yeah,
and turn it
and
off
then
and say fuel.
Yeah.
but also, I mean, this is the guy who just let like the headmistress's daughter or son off campus just because he asked. Like, yeah, he's a bad security guard. He's more concerned with his smut than he is with, you know, being a guard.
Yeah, but that's letting people out. You know, don't let them in, for God's sake. That's like 10 times worse than letting someone out.
I mean, there's only like 5 people there. It's not that big of a deal. Everyone is camping, Matt.
Yeah,
everyone.
There's five lives are just as important as 100 lives, Brian.
In the security guard's mind, those kids are also on the bus camping. There's no one there. Everyone is camping. Everyone. It's very important to remember.
Then why is he still there?
Yeah, he didn't get
Why
invited.
am I guarding an empty fucking school?
Everyone but LL Cool J is camping.
That's going to be the topic of his next book.
Yeah, I want that as a t-shirt. Everyone
Love
but
in
LL Cool J
Yosemite.
is camping. Oh man, this is a random note. Just trying to move on to when we're getting to the murders. What was with the 2000s or like 2000-ish era? I know this isn't exactly 2000s. And having way too many fucking candles.
I wrote that down too.
Like
ambiance,
fire hazard.
Bath and Body Works, man. It was a big deal back then.
But this was a thing. Like, I remember, like, this did it. I remember the second time we brought up this movie in this podcast series. American Werewolf in Paris did it. Fucking Friends did it. Like, when the whole proposal in Friends, like, who would have lit all those fucking candles? Like, my God. And
Takes
this,
a lot of time.
like, oh my, candles, A, they take a long time to light. B, they don't always stay lit. And yeah, that many, there's a lot of smoke. They don't smell good. Who would do this?
I genuinely, I'm trying to think of like, yeah, there was a thing. I think it was a 90s thing. I don't think it was like a 2000s thing. It was a 90s thing.
Was it
because
90s?
I'm starting to think of like, I'm sure the sex scene in Desperado, there's like enough candles.
Yes.
Yep.
There's like so many candles. There's a sex scene in Time Cop, which has got candles everywhere.
Forgot about Time Cop.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. A lot of people wish they could too. Oh man, but yeah, it was a thing for sure. And then like you get to a point now where it's like we also kind of skipped over a scene, but I'm also kind of fine with we've said how good Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie. We kind of skipped over her actually coming clean about Michael. Is there anything anybody wants to say about that sequence, or do we want to get to the murders?
My only issue with this, and I think it's just it's an endemic thing throughout the whole film, is they lean too much on he was her brother. Like,
yeah,
it just feels, I don't know why, but it just, for me, every time someone said that, it was just like, it just feels a bit weird with them like referring to him as a brother. And I think it's because it's sort of like humanizing him a little bit. And Michael Myers has always been like, you know, he was the shape. He wasn't even Michael Myers in the screenplays for the most part anyway. So it's like calling him her brother, it kind of like it humanized him to a point where I don't know. It felt that something about it felt off to me.
It's the first time we hear her say that.
Yeah.
And
Maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's
all it
literally
is.
all it is. It's just that, like, like you said, it's the first time we've heard her out and out say that it's a brother, and because she's referring to him as a brother so much, it seems out of place because of that.
So I like it just because it's her trying to confront her past with her psychologist boyfriend, but she plays it very well. But I think what Matt says, there's just that brevity of having her say, "Oh yeah, brother," and that's the first time she says it too. We've gone that long without her addressing it, and now she's addressing it, and it's the last 30 minutes of the movie. So it's I don't know.
No, I agree with that, because it does feel a little bit off and
Out of place,
especially for those people who don't like the storyline, like John Carpenter doesn't like the storyline that they're brother and sister. It's just gonna bother you even more. I've never really minded that story. I kind of get it enough. I'm like, okay, I can buy into this. It's not my favorite, but it's also like, it's weird when I hear Halloween fans say they don't like that storyline. I'm like, the majority of your movies are based on that storyline. You should give it some credit. You wouldn't have these movies without it, but that's whatever.
I think for me personally, I prefer it with them not being related, because I think it speaks to a bit more of you have this, what's the word I'm thinking? It basically like random chance. She wasn't targeted. It was just, oh, you came to my house. Well, okay, well, I'm going to follow you around now. It wasn't, oh, you're my sister, I must kill you.
Yeah, that's fair. But all right, let's move into Murder Town, because we're basically knocking on the door. There's only like 20 minutes left in the movie, which is still very upsetting, because like the problem for me with this is when you're watching the majority of the other Michael movies, it's that constant thing of he's always everywhere. Who is he going to kill? Like, who's not going to make it out of this thing? When we push the kill so late in the movie, it's like, all right, so now I'm literally waiting for you to die. Like, I know you two characters are not popular. I know you're not here for any other reason but to die. And I'm talking specifically about the other two teenage characters. Michelle Williams, I thought she might have had a shot. She ended up making out of this just fine. But the friend couple, they were fucked from the word go. And it's just like, how are you still in this movie? And I spent a lot of time just going like, why are you still here? And then when they finally get rid of the girl, holy fuck, did they get rid of the girl? The guy,
I don't even know how she died. Like, I don't know what her wounds were exactly. I just know that she was bloodied and hanging from a very questionable light fixture.
Yeah, she lost her leg in a dumbwaiter. She definitely got stabbed, because you see him do like the stabbing thing, and she got hanged. Like, I don't know what this girl did to Michael, but he was fucking mad at her.
And he had his foot on her throat while he was doing it.
Jesus Christ.
I think he was just waiting so long, like we were, that it was just really cathartic for him to break the seal. And
he had murder blue balls.
Yes.
Because the boy, he died, sense. but like, man,
I think the problem with like having so little characters as well is like, who's gonna die and who's not gonna die. Like, Josh Hartnett's not going to die. Yeah. Because unless they're going to be really horrible to Laurie, which at the time of this, I don't think that they would have pushed it like that. So,
you know, 2018 to do that.
Exactly. You know that it's going to be fine for him. You kind of think that his girlfriend's going to be fine as well. So then there's only two other characters really that are left to die, like in terms of teenagers, and that's not a lot. Like, it kills a lot more adults in this film. Like, I'm not saying that I want to see more teenagers die. I'm just saying that his usual victims are teenagers or anyone who's in his way. And I think more than 50% of his kills in this are actually not teenagers. They're all adults.
It's only 3 teenagers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I guess 4. Because it's it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his buddy, and then the 2 teenagers, right? So that'd be 4.
Did his buddy die as well? Did we see his buddy die?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought
he's in the doorway.
Yeah. He's dead.
Oh, yeah.
So 4 teenagers.
4 teens, 2 adults, and then
So it's still more teenagers than adults. It doesn't, for some reason, because of the pacing of it, it just doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Which I think speaks.
you've got that opening sequence with the kills there, and then nothing for like
An hour.
an hour
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah, like it's such a big, long stretch. It kind of creates this disconnect between that opening sequence and the rest of the film.
Sure, but there is something about it that when we finally do get to that kill, like as much as I'm annoyed about that disconnect and about like the lack of murders, it means that once we start going, the back half of this movie, or the back third of this movie, is fucking great. Like it's a great slasher film. Like the kills of the two kids, although like you're waiting for it to happen, are not bad. And then the movie very smartly goes like, all right, so it's going to be a Michael versus Jamie's kid movie for about 3 minutes. He's going to stab him in a leg. And then once we finally get to Michael v. Jamie, get the kids out of here. Like nobody gives a shit about him anyways. Just, fucking run away, guys. You're fine. And that's what they do. We don't hear from them ever again in the entire Halloween franchise. They are gone. And they're
you
fine.
see a screwed up picture of Josh Hartnett in the next Abomination.
Yeah, but that's
in the opening.
It.
That's it.
You don't hear anything about it. He's just gone forever.
Yeah.
Like that. There he goes.
Written off.
Yeah.
I think it's more to do with the fact that Josh Hartnett was probably not interested at all in coming back.
I mean, he did go do the faculty, so
and cost a lot more money.
And Pearl Harbor.
Oh, Pearl Harbor. Poor Pearl Harbor.
We all can't pick winners.
You sure can pick losers though. But yeah, so I really like that. Like this movie is very smart about like, all right, get these kids out of here. We want Jamie versus Michael. Like this is a lesson that like a lot of Halloween fans wish that Halloween Ends had paid attention to. I still really like Halloween Ends. I think they do it very smartly there too. But I see what they're talking about. But also to that point, we've already gotten that. We got that here. And this is great. Like that moment with Jamie walking out with the axe and screaming Michael and the music score hits.
I'm just going to say the music score.
Thanks,
the music
John.
score there is so good. John Debney, I think, is it?
No, John Ottoman wrote the original, which got lambasted because it was too orchestra driven. And so they took Marco Beltrami's from like Scream and all those other movies from the 90s and feeded that in, and it just didn't work. But this is John Ottoman's score.
John Ottoman. I knew it was a John. I was just trying to think which one it was. Because he did he's done quite a lot. I think he's done a few of the X-Men films as well. Really good composer. I like his stuff. Cool.
But that moment is his. That was not Beltrami or whatever, however you say his name.
It's fucking great. Like I don't care that it's orchestral. It works so well because it builds you up to this. Oh, it's on. Like, it's so well done.
Oh, yeah. And even like the lead up to it, like, because her boyfriend gets killed before that, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And like, but even like that is like once this movie pops off, like it's the old stab and lift. Like we haven't had that in a little bit. It's like, I love the stab and lift. And it's like, and like, even where he gets him like in the side, it's like, oh, that has to cut through ribs. Like that is a well-made knife.
These knives are quite big as opposed to any other Halloween film. Like they are ginormous butcher knives.
That's true.
I noticed that.
They are kind of like the knives from Expendables 2. Like
right.
These are just tiny
Jim
swords.
Bowie of butcher knives.
But where did he go to buy those butcher knives? Oh, some military surplus store.
Yeah.
I just want to see like a deleted scene of Michael in a shop shopping for knives and just be like, not big enough.
And I want the big knives.
Yeah,
I want the big knives so I can lift humans off the ground with them. Like, do you have any of those? Yeah, let me get them in the back.
What's the weight limit for this knife?
Going into some sort of department store, like, what's the biggest knife you have?
Listen, I did it with a scalpel, so if a scalpel can do it, you got to have something here.
Yeah, he did do a stab and lift with a scalpel. I also love in that sequence, just to throw it out there, is wait, was it this sequence or was it later? Where does he do the one arm pull up thing? Is that
that's later, I think.
That's
later.
Does that?
He dies. She runs and gets the kids. They get in the car and run to the gate. The gate closes. She smashes it, and then she goes to look for him, and that's when he lifts down.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
that is
I
such
love
a
that
cool
moment.
shot.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It is a very cool shot.
It's
Don't think
it's,
about it too much though, because you're like, Hang on a minute. How is he holding himself up?
It's Michael freaking Myers.
Yeah,
He's like a
I can just see him he's like his belly's hanging over.
Yeah, it's like a gymnast. Just hold himself up there. He's doing flips.
Here's
Like,
you go. And lift and gently down.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he could tip over a car. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, he's reached that level. But it is such a cool moment because it's not something you've seen before in this series, and it's such a creative way to get a drop on someone too.
Well, it also like it gives you, in a weird way, like a peek behind a curtain you didn't think of before. Like that whole like, how does Michael get behind people and how does he pull this shit off? And you get this one shot of like, oh, that's how he does it. Oh, that's fucking scary. And like it's really cool. Like I love it.
Dude,
It's funny, given all
champion.
Despite all the killings, I never really thought about the upper body strength he must have.
Oh yeah,
Lift
With
off
one
the
arm
ground with
pull-up.
a scalpel.
Very slow, just like I can barely do one pull-up normal, let alone a one arm like controlled movement thing.
I'm gonna go try to do a one-arm pull-ups later on.
Let us know how it goes. You
Yeah.
need to do it
Probably
as
not
slow
Will.
as Michael.
Challenge
No.
accepted.
I might be able to do a lower one. I'll send a video.
Yeah, I can do it when I'm standing. It'll look great.
Anybody got a box I can stand on? Film the chest up.
Yeah, I need a half apple. Anyhow, the rest of the movie just kind of zips. Like they fight for a little while. She defeats him, which we all know he's not dead, including her. Like oh yeah, she's gonna what, shoot him in the face or stab him again, and
She's gonna stab him again.
Yeah, stab him.
LL Cool J comes back.
Ella's like, no, he's dead, and she's like, he's not. No, he's dead. It's like, you fucking weren't. We skipped over Lori's boyfriend shooting him, and then he got up fine.
Yes.
Harry, you're alive.
Yeah.
You're a terrible shot.
That's what he gets for stealing her gun and thinking he's a better marksman.
Oh yeah, like
A romantic thriller.
yeah.
We're there.
But like the last 5 minutes, I'm not even sure if it's 5 minutes, it might just be 2 minutes of her just like the fuck it of like, I have my axe, I am gonna steal this ambulance, all of you can fuck yourselves, I know this guy isn't dead. It's awesome. Like I love all of it. Like it's just that very much just throwing caution to the wind. Either he's dying, we're both dying, or I don't give a fuck. Either way, he's going down.
Well, and you said that too, like when he's in the back of the coroner's van, he's getting out of the bag, and then she hits the brake and he falls through, and then she hits him again.
Yeah.
The look that she has on her face, she's like, we're going down together. She's like, I do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
We're ending this. And it was great. It really well done.
Yeah. And
Driving the van off the cliff. Like, it just speaks to that of like, well, fuck it. If I can't kill you, I'm going to fucking take you with me.
I'm going to maim you pretty good.
yeah. And
he's pinned between the tree and the coroner's van as well, which that's not a real coroner's van. That's a white van with coroner written on the side. It's like there's nothing in the back of that. It's literally just like any sort of rented van. When she's driving
to video budget.
But it's also like the end of that where he does get pinned against that tree and he's sitting there against the ice cream van.
Would be great if that song kicked on.
I gotta say,
an ice cream van
Reggie comes around from around the corner. It made it a great ending.
Reggie just comes over with his 4-barrel shotgun. I got this. It's a way better movie at that point. I gotta say though, like I have to watch this movie pretending that the next one doesn't exist, because if you do, this ending works really well. Like I love it. Just like even the old school like sound effect when she chops the head off. It's like, that's awesome. And like I like the psychological element of Michael doing the whole like, oh, what am I wearing? This mask? Could you help me? And like there's times in my life where I watch that moment and I hate it. I'm like, what is this shit? And there's other times where I'm like, this is just a different level of stalking. He's still trying, and it's like, I still appreciate it. I'm kind of in that zone right now. Talk to me next week, I might hate it, but right now it's pretty good. I dig it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's it's like, oh, maybe I can grab her when she reaches out and break her neck, and then I win and I can just die. It'll be fine. But no, it really works out. Definitely with the whole psychological level, and just he's trying to appeal to her familial nature, but she realizes, she's like, no, I have to end this. This ends my trauma, and I'm done.
Yep. Yeah, and just keep pretending that part 8 isn't there
Doesn't
to
exist.
fucking ruin this ending.
We just go right to Rob Zombie. It's fine.
Yeah. No one has ever said that. This is a good film.
I just did, and I mean it.
Go straight to Rob Zombie, and it's fine.
It's like, go straight to Rob Zombie. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
About all that movie's worth. Oh boy. Anyhow, anything we missed in this thing we want to talk about before we get to our favorite moments? That
No.
sounds like a
I think
pretty-
we basically covered everything, to be
We
honest.
did.
Pretty good. And we were nice to this movie.
we were. It's a good movie, especially coming off
Yeah.
of last week.
That's fun.
But not even just coming off of last week. It's still a fun movie. Like I hadn't seen last week's before I saw this one at least, and like I didn't need it at that time to enjoy it. It's a good movie. But let's do our favorite moments. Mine's kind of a meta one because it's not really a moment in the movie. It was a moment I had while watching the movie, and I've done that before, so I'm going to do it again. Chewie came in to talk to me while I was in the middle of watching this movie, and it's during one of those great poetry moments of LL Cool J's where he's reading to his wife, girlfriend, manager person on the phone, and Chewie comes in and asks me a question about something coming up, and I pause it, and then she's like, "Oh, what are you watching?" Oh, H2O. She's like, "Oh, I'll watch a little bit." So I unpause it right as LL goes, "Round melon breasts." Just the fact that I had that queued up so well just destroyed me. So
Oh, okay. Mine is when Jimmy Lee Curtis's boyfriend Will is sort of like, he goes in to see the two girls, and he's like, "Oh, what are you two up tonight?" And the sort of the interaction is brilliant. It's just like, "Well, we thought we'd hit the town, pick up some guys, drop some roofies in their drinks, have a whole date rape evening." "Oh, sounds good. Care to join us?" "I can't. I'm
Getting my
I'm
nipples
having my
pierced."
nipples pierced. But you two have a good time." I love that. It's such a good like I was saying about, like, very natural dialogue moment.
yeah, totally natural. That's how I talk to all of the people I've ever known.
I mean, it's that sarcasm. Like, I would say
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It
No.
feels real. It doesn't feel like a scripted line so much. I think it's in the delivery as well.
For
it
sure.
it does feel off the cuff. Like Adam Arkin is a really good actor. I like whenever I see him pop up and everything, like, oh, this is quite good.
He's also a good coat rack. Mine is, I just have to say, that gives the movie some really some underlying meaning, is the talk of fate. When in the first movie, they're talking about Samuel Costain and how he views fate, and it's Laurie as a student, and now she is a teacher talking about Frankenstein and the fate of that and facing your monster, and it's brought back memories that she was talking about fate when she was a girl, and now her fate is coming full circle. So that just really struck. And then of course you see the stupid K&B mask when Michelle Williams looks out the window, in an homage to the first film. But I just think the talk of fate was really well, and kind of nice little underpinning to the theme of the movie.
Yeah. Joel?
Yeah. So this has a lot of strong moments, to be honest. I got two. One is when Jamie Lee Curtis's gun is taken, and LL Cool J is shot, just because it was such a shocking moment. It took me by surprise when it happened. And then the knife fight near the end, because I in my mind I started chanting "knife fight, knife fight." And
Or,
it was just,
or when she kicks him in the balls and Michael's eyes like, "The fuck you do?"
yeah.
All right. That's everyone, right? Yeah, we did it. Okay, great. I was like looking around the screen. I'm like, yep, 1, 2, 3. That's everybody. Cool. All right.
There are 4 of us, Brian.
Yeah, but I don't count myself. So,
The proverbial eye.
yeah.
It's all right. Neither do we.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyhow,
Brian, you matter.
that's all I needed to hear. Let's move into our very quick round of plugs, and we can say goodbye to this week. The show and every other show at ATH Network. Be sure to check out athpod.com. We have Demon Days, we have Damage Boost, we have this, we have other shows that could be coming out at some point later, and we also have Joel's show. I'll throw to him for
Yeah, so my wife and I do a podcast called Afterthoughts. It's been mostly a book club. Last time we snuck in Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart and The Raven. It was sort of an audible at the end of October because we were severely behind trying to do the new podcast up. Fellowship of the Ring is going to be our next book here, so be on the lookout for that. And then Super GG Radio, we are a podcast about video games and all things adjacent, covering all the latest indie game news as well as filling out our backlog. My game recommendation to you today is Vampire Survivors. Give Vampire Survivors a look, and if it looks at all interesting to you, then you should get it.
Interesting. Okay.
When are we getting Dune, Joel? Because
it is on the docket. In my mind, I'm thinking like mid between like one of the Lord of the Ring books as sort of a quick break, but
quick.
we will see. You're making it sound like a real undertaking. I don't know.
I mean, dollars for June worked though.
Yeah,
you got your dollars. Now we got our June.
Mission accomplished. Yeah. Well done.
Oh, look at that. Joel didn't do what I predicted he would and come up with some bullshit reason about how we didn't get him just quite enough money.
No.
To be fair, you made all that money and 12 cents. Just throwing it at.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Ryan, what about you? Plugs?
You can find me on the Front Row Network. I'm there. I do regular full disclosures where we break down new movies, but I also am on the channel Flashbacks where we talk about movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So you can check me out there. So that's pretty much it.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening this week. Be sure to tune in next week when we talk about Halloween 8 Resurrection. I know we've been taking shots at that movie kind of on the side throughout this whole thing, but I got to tell you, it will be a very fun one to talk about. It's not like Halloween 6 where it's just soul draining to watch. It's so bad it's bad and then good and then bad and then good again. Like it's in that camp. So I'm very much looking forward to talking about it, even though I hope I never have to watch it again.
I mean, I still feel like I might have to watch it again if I continue going through the Halloween series with my girlfriend.
Oh no, Charlotte, don't do it. Don't do it. Just go straight to Rob Zombie and everything will be fine.
Exactly
How knowledgeable
like
is she about the Halloween series?
She's seen the first one.
Does she know the name of all the movies? Like, can you skip over those two and pretend they don't exist?
Maybe.
That'll work. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, should I just keep recording? Okay, so bye.
Yeah, don't stop.
Please, I actually hope you leave it. Should I still keep recording?